Hello, welcome to our virtual worship lab. I'm Erica Chada, and I'm the Director of Children's and Youth Ministries at First Lutheran Church here in Blair, Nebraska. And I am so glad that you could join me today as I talk about how I put into practice the 4-part series that we started in late April about being a host at a table along the way. So first I'll do a quick rundown of what Pastor Scott talked about during this series. So step 1 was sending an invitation.
If you're going to host a dinner, you got to invite somebody.
Step 2 is the menu, deciding what you're going to make, or in my case, what I'm going to order.
No, and then.
And then once you get that going and your guests have arrived, step 3 is to give thanks.
Giving thanks for our friends who are gathered around tables with us, giving thanks for the presence of Jesus, for the food that's in front of us, or any of the gifts that we are sharing.
And then step 4 is the best part, and that is to enjoy each other's company. This is something that First Lutheran is doing every single week with our midweek meal. We serve a homemade meal every Wednesday from 5:30 to 6:30. It's open to anyone in the community. You can let us know at the church if you'd like to be added to the list. There's no charge, and we would love to serve you. You can either stop at the church on a Wednesday between 5:30 and 6:30 to pick up your meal, or we can deliver it to you. Both options are always available. So from the midweek meal, we host about 200 people every week, and we give them food, we give them hope, we give them love, and we give them a smile. We let them know that our church and our community and our world care about them, and that our God loves them and takes care of them. Now, First Lutheran also participates in some organizations such as Bread for the World and ELCA World Hunger, also another one called Feed My Starving Children, and other large-scale groups that literally do feed millions of people around the world. By supporting these organizations, we may never know the impact that our little church is having on people all around the world. But that's often what it's like to do God's work. You don't always get to know who you're helping. You don't always get to know how you're helping, but you know that you're doing God's work. Often we look at those really big projects and it makes us feel kind of small. Not small like we're insignificant, but small like we aren't doing enough. So I'm going to show you how you, just you, can be the church, and you can be the community, and you can be the friend that someone needs right now. Even though we can't have get-togethers right now, we can still find ways to be a friend. For example, you may have been a part of a drive-through birthday party, or for example, on Sunday, we had a big parade to celebrate all of our graduates. Or maybe you put a teddy bear in your window so that little ones that go on a bear hunt can find a bear in your window. There are lots of ways to host a meal with your friends and family, and I did just that on Sunday night. So I invited my friends Barb and Martha, and Vince.
Did we lose Vince?
I don't know where he went.
I was changing my light. I didn't like it.
And I invited them to a Zoom meeting. We can hear her. She can't hear us.
Volume. No.
And dinner. Now, fellowship is a Norse word. Vince told me to say that. I'm just going to be honest. And fellow means a companion or a partner or a colleague. And ship means time spent in a role. So time spent with friends is fellowship, like our fellowship hall at First Lutheran. We serve our midweek meal from our fellowship hall. It's perfect. The 4 of us started the meal by greeting each other, and we made lots of faces at Martha's grandson, which was fun. And we shared what we were each having for dinner. And then, as discussed in part 3 of the series, we gave thanks.
We want to thank you for Gift of Zoom.
Not just for our food, but for each other and for the fact that we were able to meet via Zoom. Lastly, and this is what we did for the bulk of the meal, we enjoyed each other's company. We talked about our days.
I watched a short documentary about Tutankhamun and the people that discovered him and how there is no mummy's curse. And this is an absolutely true story now. See, they opened the tomb and there was 5,000 artifacts in there, right? And so then the guy who funded the whole thing.
We asked each other about our families. We talked about church. And we even played a game.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I just had to climb over a baby gate, no problem.
Sharpie,
Open up the top part.
I don't think I have a plant.
Something like that.
Sharpie. This plant is dead, but it's a plant. Toilet paper, something from church. That stuff's everywhere here. This is from church. Sweatpants or pajamas.
Buddy. You done?
Something musical?
Toothpaste. Come on. I can do this. Toothpaste.
Ice cube.
Sugar jam.
Here's a pillow. Salt or pepper shaker. Something red. Pepper grinder. Red. Done.
Done.
It was an absolutely delightful time. And before we said our goodbyes, we agreed that we would meet again in a few days. All the things that I just talked about, the midweek meal, ELCA World Hunger, my dinner party, they all deal with literal meals where there's food, there's fellowship, and there's a fork and a knife. Now, if you've watched all of the virtual worship lab videos, you may have noticed that Pastor Scott was not just talking about actual dinner, although he did bring up pork products a lot. So the table along the way for First Lutheran is what Vince calls an extended metaphor. 2 big words, straight from Vince. The table doesn't have to be a table. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. The table is the church. When we invite people to the table, we invite them to the church. And maybe you remember the song, "We are the church together." So we are the table. When we invite people to the table, to the church, we're inviting them to be a part of ourselves, to be a part of our lives and our experiences, to include them. Now, the next part is the menu, and that's not just food. Again, it could be, everybody eats, so actual food could be what's served, but the actual food that First Lutheran is serving is the presence of Christ. It's Christ's grace. It's his love. It's his mercy, his acceptance, his forgiveness, and our thankfulness, and our laughter, and our fellowship, and our tears, all of it. We serve all these things, even though they're not ours to give. They are freely given by Jesus to all people. So our job is to remind people of this fact and to be God's hands and feet and share Jesus with everyone. Okay, so giving thanks like a meal prayer is next. Be grateful. Be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for what you don't have. Be thankful for the people you are with and the people who are far away. Be thankful for your home. Be thankful for your family, for your church, for God's creation, for all the blessings that He gives you. Have you ever heard someone be described as ungrateful? Or maybe someone says that someone's taking it for granted? That means that we haven't sat down to think about what it takes for us to truly live and thrive in God's world. Giving thanks is not just about thanking God for creating the world, but it's like saying a prayer and thanking each person along the way that was a part of our day. So the clothes that we put on, the person who sewed those clothes, the pets that we played with, the person who works in the factory to make our pets food, the music we listen to, the person who recorded that music, the technology that we are able to use, the person who designed that technology, all of the people and the things in our lives that make our lives the way they are. Every single piece of every single day. Be thankful. So we invite people to the presence of Christ. We thank God for them. Is that it? Is our job done? Check. Nope. The last part of being a table along the way is the conversation. You don't really need to be at a dinner table to talk to people. Ask the Jorgensens, they know that. When I taught school, I spent a lot of time asking my students to stop visiting with their neighbors. It was time for algebra. Well, now I'm here telling you the opposite. Go visit with your neighbors. Who are our neighbors? Do you remember VBS from last year? Everybody is our neighbor, no matter how far away, no matter what color their skin is, no matter what their name is, no matter what city they're in. Every single person in God's world is our neighbor. Get to know people. Even at dinner on Sunday night, I was with 3 people who I have known for many years. I have spent time with them. I'm comfortable with them. But I still learned things about them and their families that I didn't know that night during dinner. Ask questions. Find somebody that you don't know a lot about and ask them, what's your favorite food? If you could be anyone in history, who would you be? Where's your favorite place to be in the whole wide world? Learn more about your neighbors, whether they live near or far, and show them that you care about them. Ask them questions. Learn more. Okay, so with all of that being said, by having dinner over Zoom, playing the scavenger hunt with my friends, was I doing it right? I think I was. We all treasured our time together on Sunday night. We had fun, we enjoyed each other, and we knew that God was with us while we were doing those things. Love was shared over and over and over. So it's not just a communion table, or a dinner table, or a pool table, or a changing table, or just a plain old table. It's not just about the food, whether it's beef Wellington, or an egg sandwich, or a tiny piece of rice. It is about being grateful and thankful to God for all of His creation, the plants, the animals, the people, and especially for God's justice and His love, His mercy, His kindness, His humility. It is simply saying, hi, you're my neighbor. You belong here. Everybody belongs here. And God loves all of us. And God shows us how to love each other. So I hope I see you at a table along the way, maybe at church in the midweek meal line, maybe in line for takeout at El Vallarta, maybe on a walk, maybe I'll see you in a Zoom meeting. But I hope I see you along the way so that we can share with each other how much God loves us. Thank you for being my neighbor. Thank you for sharing God's love. And thank you for being you. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and we will see you again next week for another virtual worship lab. Love you all. Bye-bye.